little lock that looked exactly the same as the little unit that was in my filing cabinet at Los Alamos. Same company, same little bolt, except that when the bolt came down, the big handles on the safe could then move some rods sideways, and with a bunch of levers you could pull back all those 3/4-inch steel rods. The whole lever system, it appeared, depends on the same little bolt that locks filing cabinets. Just for the sake of professional perfection, to make sure it was the same, I took the two numbers off the same way I did with the filing cabinet safes. Meanwhile, he was reading the report. When he'd finished, he said, "All right, it's fine." He put the report in the safe, grabbed the big handles, and swung the great brass doors together. It sounds so good when they close, but I know it's all psychological, because it's nothing but the same damn lock. I couldn't help but needle him a little bit. I always had a thing about military guys in such wonderful uniforms. So I said, "The way you close that safe, I get the idea that you think things are safe in there." "Of course." "The only reason you think they're safe in there is because civilians call it a safe." I put the word civilians in there to make it sound as if he'd been had by civilians. He got very angry. "What do you mean, it's not safe? Good safecracker could open it in 30 minutes. "Can you open it in 30 minutes? I said, "A good safecracker. It would take me about 45. "Well," he said, "my wife is waiting at home for me with supper, but I'm going to stay here and watch you, and you're going to sit down there and work on that damn thing for 45 minutes and not open it." He sat down in his big leather chair, put his feet up on his desk, and read. With complete confidence, I picked up a chair, carried it over to the safe, and sat down in front of it. I began to turn the wheel at random, just to make some action. After about 5 minutes, which is quite a long time when you're just sitting and waiting, he lost some patience. "Well, are you making any progress?" With a thing like this, you either open it or you don't. I figured 1 or 2 more minutes would be about time, so I began to work in earnest, and 2 minutes later, clink, it opened. The colonel's jaw dropped, and his eyes bugged out. "Colonel," I said, in a serious tone, "let me tell you something about these locks. When the door to the safe, or the top drawer of the filing cabinet is left open, it's very easy for someone to get the combination. That's what I did while you were reading my report, just to demonstrate the danger. You should insist that everybody keep their filing cabinet drawers locked while they're working, because when they're open, they're very, very vulnerable." "Yeah, I see what you mean. That's very interesting." We were on the same side after that. The next time I went to Oak Ridge, all the secretaries and people who knew who I was were telling me, "Don't come through here! Don't come through here!" The colonel had sent a note around to everyone in the plant which said, "During his last visit, was Mr. Feynman at any time in your office, near your office, or walking through your office?" Some people answered yes. Others said no. The ones who had said yes got another note. "Please change the combination of your safe." That was his solution. I was the danger. So they all had to change their combinations on account of me. It's a pain in the neck to change a combination and remember the new one. So they were all mad at me and didn't want me to come near them. They might have to change their combinations once again. Of course, their filing cabinets were still left open while they were working. A library at Los Alamos held all of the documents we had ever worked on. It was a solid, concrete room with a big, beautiful door which had a metal wheel that turns, like a safe deposit vault. During the war, I had tried to look at it closely. I knew the girl who was the librarian, and I begged her to let me play with it a little bit. I was fascinated by it. It was the biggest lock I ever saw. I discovered that I could never use my method of picking off the last 2 numbers to get in. In fact, while turning the knob while the door was open, I made the lock close, so it was sticking out, and they couldn't close the door again until the girl came and opened the lock again. That was the end of my fiddling around with that lock. I didn't have time to figure out how it worked. It was much beyond my capacity. During the summer after the war, I had some documents to write and work to finish up, so I went back to Los Alamos from Cornell, where I had taught during the year. In the middle of my work, I had to refer to a document that I had written before but couldn't remember, and it was down in the library. I went down to get the document, and there was a soldier walking